Well, thank you so much for the invitation and the possibility of both sharing and to gain experience from this room and online. So, I work at the Swedish National Heritage Board, which is the same board as Helen just presented. And I will talk about the World Heritage work that we do. So we have 15 World Heritage sites in Sweden. 13 of them are cultural sites. Number 4 is our nature site, which is also shared with Finland. And number 1 is our mixed site, which is both cultural and a nature site. And it's also the OUV, the Outstanding Universal Value, is also very well connected to traditions from the Sami people. So it's also with the indigenous people that we work with. We also have, Helen mentioned that we have 3 sites that are of high value. So it's number 1, it's number 4, and it's also number 12, which is an agricultural landscape, and it's a continuing landscape with high values of nature. And we have 1 site on the tentative list, which is also the rise of the systematic biology. Have you heard of Carl von Linné? Yeah, that's connected to his work. Okay. So the Swedish National Heritage Board, you heard about our overall work, and this is what we do connected to the World Heritage work. So, of course, we work with the implementation of the World Heritage Convention. But we have also been assigned from the state party to be the coordinator of the World Heritage work. We have the focal point of the Cultural World Heritage. We coordinate the periodic reporting, and the last one was done in 2023. How many of you were involved? Not that many. Oh, a few, okay. We also work with reactive monitoring, that something happens and even the common people can be concerned that something is happening in the World Heritage, and they contact us. So we work with the reactive monitoring. We work with governance and also especially the legal protection. We don't have any specific World Heritage legislation in Sweden. It's protected by many different acts or ordinances. And of course, we work with the operational guidelines, the toolkits, and the policy documents, and try to involve it in different guidelines and how we work in Sweden. And as mentioned, we got the assignment to make a national strategy for our World Heritage work, which was conducted over a few years, and in a wide cooperation with different stakeholders and authorities. When this was done, the vision is that World Heritage should lead the way to a peaceful and sustainable world. And when this was presented in 2020, it was a totally different world than we see today. So it's more challenging working with this today. And one of the goals in the strategy is that the Sustainable Development Goals should be a part of all our work. So that's what we tried to do. Those things look quite easy on paper, and it's not that easy when you should do it in practice. And 1 year after the strategy was presented, we also presented an action plan. And In that action plan, there are 9 areas of development, and risk preparedness and climate change adaptation is one part of it. And this was presented before the UNESCO climate change policy document were presented in 2023. So when we are in the progress of reviewing the work in the action plan and revise it, and then this new policy will be included. So when we're working with the development goal in the action plan today, we work with this. You have the outstanding universal value. Are all familiar with the temple? Both and, yeah. It stands on 3 pillars. If one of the pillars falls, the temple falls. So when we work with the climate change, you're in 2 of the pillars. And it's the authenticity and the integrity, and also how to get it in your guidelines, in your governance, and in your management plans. And it's both with mitigation and adaptation. So how do we work with mitigation? First I will share this. Is it for real? Sometimes you can see discussions about, yeah, it's not that bad. I would recommend them all to go to this World Heritage, which is on Iceland. So it's the Vatnajökull National Park, the nature of fire and ice. And we visited this site a few years ago, and you can go from the visitor center to the glacier, and you can see where the glacier were in different times. It's not on the same place as it were if they had placed the visitor center a few hundred years before. So this is happening, and here you can see it. We can see it in all our sites, but here you can really experience it in a different way. And you can see the border of the glacier today. You can see how it's melting. So if you don't believe it, go there. So how do we also work with mitigation? All different authorities in Sweden have policy documents of how to make responsible choices in their organizations. But also the visitor centers work with this in different ways. And the first one is from the rock carvings in Tanum. It's number 15. I have put in maps on all my slides so that you can follow in Sweden and see where we are. So this is number 15, the first picture. And they have a policy document presented on their webpage so that everyone who wants to visit or work with similar tasks, they can go to the webpage and have a look. How do they work with different sustainable and responsible choices? And also the second picture is from the visitor center in the Lithuanian area. And that was our mixed site, number 1. And the Sami people, they have different traditions. They have 8 seasons, and they also don't want to leave traces in the landscape. So when they built this visitor center, that was in the plan. So they can actually take this down and don't leave traces. And it's made out of sustainable materials. Big questions right now is how do we work with mitigation and lower the increasing temperature, and the green transition and renewable energy is something that we have to work with. We have a lot of permit assessment right now, who is a part of this. But sometimes you have to stop and think, is this the best place of doing this? Or can it be done in some other places? Our decorated farmhouses, that is number 5, it's not on the picture, but UNESCO have specifically said that this is an area that is sensitive for wind energy. We have our coastal world heritage, that is, some of them are can be affected of the offshore wind energy. And we also have the solar energy, and you can put them on the roofs, and you have to think about it. Is this the best place to put it? But you also have the Grimmington radio station, which is number 14 on the map. Here they wanted to place a solar panel field quite near this area. And of course it can affect the visual experience of the place. But here, for 100 years, they have been able to transmit radio signals from Sweden to America. And the concern was that this panel system should disturb that transmission. And that would affect the OUV in a negative way. So, and we have a court order that they forbid them to build this solar panel. Okay, we also work with awareness raising. Here we have 3 different sites. It's number 4, the one down here. We have Struve that we also share with Lithuania, and it's number 2. And we have the rock carvings in Tarnum, that is number 15. All of them are about bedrocks, it's about stones. But when you work with this, you have to do it with different methods, in a different way. There is not one recipe that have the solution for everything. And a lot of our work is to organize seminars or participate in seminars just to raise awareness. And it can be, as in the first picture, about methods. And here we are discussing one of the threats, that the water is pouring down the rock, and it damages it. And on top of the picture, you can see that they have built a concrete wall. So if you should try to do things, don't test new methods on crucial points. So now they are removing this, and of course that is causing damages, but it's better than just keeping it. And you can see that we have some different materials laying on, and so we're trying new methods that is less dangerous to the position there. Okay, then the adaptation. So before you know what to do, you have to do your homework. What can we do? We have heard about some of the methods, as the vulnerability index, for example, and the different reports. But we also have the periodic reporting. We have quite new numbers in chapter 4 in the periodic reporting. What does it say? And this is our analysis of the factors affecting the properties. And it will be included in a report that we will publish later this year. And it's also in the report, we have a survey that we had a number of questions about cultural heritage in general and a specific chapter about the World Heritage. And this survey was done to the county administrative boards, and most of them answered. So we have the numbers to compare. So first we have the World Heritage and the periodic reporting from 2023. We have the survey from this year, and then we can continue doing this. And it will be a great thing to have when we will do the next periodic reporting. So, and it's type of how you can work with this type of questions in a different way. So what have we seen? Water. Water is crucial for survival, both man and nature, but it's also a threat. And this is what UNESCO has said in a news that was published during the summer. Nearly 3/4 of World Heritage sites are at risk from water-related hazards. Have you seen the news that was published? So, but we share this picture. Water is the biggest threat that we have. And the picture here is from the agricultural landscape of Öland. So how does the water damage? You can see my arrow. It comes from up, and it comes from below. In this area, number 3 on the map is the church town of Gammelstad. And if you see on the picture from above, they are basically on top of each other, 400 buildings. So when the rain comes, it comes down on the facade of the next building. When the rainfall was heavy, the roads it couldn't go away, and it was sloping towards the buildings. So here the solution was that they lowered the roads after an archaeological excavation. And now the water can go away from the buildings. We also have the sea level rise. We were talking about the risk and vulnerability assessment. In Sweden, we have done it out of a community perspective. And this is one area that is in high risk of damaging the entire city from sea level rise, and especially the World Heritage. And this first analysis later led to a project where they had a look at the World Heritage. What are the risks and how can we work with it? And you can see that there are quite many buildings that are at high risk if the water level increases 2.5 meters. And already today, when we have the storm floods, it's already there in some points. And you can see on the picture, which is number 13 on the map, buildings are already in the water. The closest one shall be in the water because it's that function. But the one with the black roof and the white pillars, it shall not be in the water, but it's really close. So there are some areas that we need to work with, and the report presents different solutions, both in short term and in long term. It's available online. We haven't decided which way to go, neither we, the municipality, or the county administrative board, because all of them include damaging the OUV in some way or other interests. But if we don't do anything, we will lose it in a longer perspective. So where do you put the level? And it will be extremely costful to do these solutions. We also have the flooding. And the solution of this is that you have a plan for looking at weather reports, and if there will be rainfall or snow, a lot of snow melting fast, then they open the dams. We have the humidity, and especially in our industrial heritage. The first one is the mining in Falun, which is number 6. And you also have the radio station that I mentioned before as number 14. The corrosion increases. And on the radio station, this means that they have to, when they have 6 towers. So when they have painted them, the number 6, they have to start over at number 1. And this is going faster and faster and becomes more and more expensive. Humidity is also a problem in the unheated buildings. During wintertime, the humidity increases. To work with this, the decorated farmhouses, number 5 on the map, they have worked with the university. So they are measuring the humidity in the buildings, and they are also doing some research about how they can lower the humidity during winter time and not heated buildings. Oh, sorry. So, and we have the frost wedging. We love to talk about the World Heritage Visby, which is number 11 on the map. This is an example of when we are doing things. Something has happened, and in this case, they have restored it. On the stone, on the other hand, there is a quite large crack. This is an example from number 9, which is Birkahovgården. And in this case, we just observe at this moment. We don't do anything with the crack, we just observe it to see if do we have to do something. And that is also a choice. Sometimes you do things and sometimes you don't. And the temperature. Both of these pictures are from the Lithuanian area, number 1. The picture with the landscape. At the same time, earlier, it should be 80 centimeters of snow at that time. And there is not. Something is happening in the area. And the Lithuanian people who have their traditions with 8 seasons instead of our 4, they can't do their traditions in an ordinary way because the climate isn't. They are not cooperating. And this affects the reindeer. And you can say that the reindeer is the heart of that World Heritage. And they graze over huge areas. And if they don't have snow, they get affected by the mosquitoes. To keep their kids and go to the snow, they are protected in that area. If they are on bare land, they get attacked by the mosquitoes. And also, if you have the temperature during winter, if you have snow and then you get warmer, maybe it rains or it melts on top, and then it freezes again, and it becomes a crust on top. And that means they can't just put the snow away to eat the grass or lava underneath. And this means, on the other hand, that other types of grazing areas is more important. And then they come to conflict with the different companies who wants to cut down the forest and things like that. So this is not an easy solution. but it is up to discussion. Also in that area, we were talking about the archaeological artifacts and archaeological sites. And some are affected in the long term and some in a short term. And this is happening right now because the glaciers are melting and the artifacts get open in the air and in the sun and gets destroyed. And those artifacts are a part of the Lithuanian OUV. And this is also something that we are discussing both with the site and the researchers. How do we do this? How can we take the both perspectives? We have the temperature change, which of course affects the gardens. This is the royal domain of Drottningholm, who was our first World Heritage. It's number 10 on the map. And it's also the cemetery, Skogskyrkogården, which is number 8. And the trees, they get infected by diseases, the fungus, and it affects the entire gardens. And there are also discussions about solutions. Yeah, we replace it with other types of trees, for example. We have the drought, because it can be too much water, but it can also be too little water. And wildfires are happening. This was in 2014, and of course it affects people, but it also affects cultural heritage, such as this industrial heritage that is number 7. There were more than, it was a huge area, and more than 100 firemen who was fighting this, and 10 helicopters and things. The agricultural landscape of Öland, number 12. In 2018, it was really dry. Perhaps it was in Lithuania too. Yeah. And it was really dry. They had to go with different tank cars over from the mainland to the island so that they could continue growing their crops and the cows could drink. Yeah, 2 slides, 2 minutes. Okay. And I heard several times here, yeah, you are the experts. Yes, we are experts in some way. We can be experts in a method or a system or in a place, but it's in the network that we can find the best practice. And there are a lot of experts in this room on your site or in your expertise, but it's in the network that we can find the solutions to the global challenges. And it's together, because nobody can do everything. All can do something, and together we can do a lot. So thank you so much.